Hello, Dr. Lodi. It's Alex. Very nice to meet you. We haven't actually had the pleasure of meeting yet, so I've been hearing a lot about you, and I think probably the best way to introduce you is to let you introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what specifically you look after at the LifeCo. You have a whole clinic here in which you treat certain type of patients, from what I understand, chronic illnesses, cancer, and other diseases. But I'm going to let you do it because you're going to know how to explain it better than I.
Sure. I specialize in integrative oncology, and the word integrative means what it means, right? You integrate all the different healing modalities, disciplines, and you bring them together and you use the best of each. Because no one discipline has all the answers, right?
But you're talking like Oriental, Western,
traditional Chinese, Ayurvedic, naturopathy, allopathy, which is medical doctors, osteopathy. There's all kinds of ways of homeopathy.
Yeah.
They're all different healing disciplines. Okay. It's just that the allopaths won out in 1856 when they made when the AMA was formed, basically as a labor union to shut out all other types, because in those days people were more inclined towards homeopathy and a few other things. In fact, the Queen, the royal family today still prefers homeopathy. They don't go to allopaths.
Yeah.
Okay, so allopaths are the guys with the tinctures in the back rooms and the skull and crossbones. That's allopathy. Okay, so but it's not all bad. I mean, if you break your leg, you're not going to go to a traditional Chinese doctor, right?
Yeah.
If the baby's coming out feet first, you're not going to go. So there are roles for each discipline, but bringing it all together, and we have to bring it all together. So basically, I've been practicing for about 35 years, but the last 23, 25 years has been focused on cancer. And as you know, we have a pandemic going on planet Earth, far worse than this virus thing, which has a 2% mortality rate. Only, much less than the flu. And what we're seeing now is, well, for example, in the US, 100 years ago, 0.5% of the population got cancer.
You're kidding.
0.5%. It wasn't even listed on the lists.
And that's only 100 years ago.
Yeah. Today, 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women. Breast cancer has become the leading cause of death for women worldwide. So something's going on, okay? And that's a whole other discussion about what's going on. Is it just an accident? Is there some... Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff to discuss about it, which we won't. But nevertheless, the lifestyle is the major culprit here. But if you think, but the truth is, you can divide cancers. There's 2 kinds of things. Traditionally been divided into infectious causes and lifestyle causes. Infectious are HPV, cervical cancer, also oropharyngeal cancer, hepatitis B, which causes liver cancer.
This is transmittable, so it's
infectious.
Yeah.
Epstein-Barr, which can cause lymphomas, and anyway. So there's a lot of different virally or infectious related cancers. And those we saw usually in third world countries, and we saw the lifestyle ones in first world countries. What we're seeing now is all of them here in the what's called the third world, because America has successfully exported its poisonous lifestyle. Okay, so we don't need to bomb people anymore. We just send out our lifestyle. Yeah. Watch our YouTubes, watch our movies. Yeah, you too can be Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So anyway, so everybody's eating everywhere I go. Starbucks, everywhere I go, McDonald's, everywhere I go, Burger King. For example, in Japan, breast cancer unheard of until we brought in fast food. Unheard of. They just didn't have it because their lifestyle was very healthy.
This is an important paradigm people need to really understand, because we've not taught this. We don't. The idea is that cancer is just going to be there, and we're going to have to face it. Some people are predisposed to have it, and some are not. Right.
Which is beyond absurd and enters into the realm of
they always
insane.
Say, do you have a history of cancer in your family? Right. So this is obviously ingraining in you that maybe I don't have a chance. I don't have a chance.
The victim of your genes Therefore, you might as well smoke, shoot heroin, and get drunk
You're
every
gonna get
day.
it anyway. Yeah.
Right? No, the reason they do this, the reason this is one of the most greatest lies ever perpetrated upon the human race is health is impossible and disease is inevitable. Okay, so with that true, what are you going to do? Well, you know you're going to get sick. You get insurance because you're going to buy insurance because you're planning to get sick. Well, guess what? You're going to get sick. It's in your mind. You're going to get sick.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is insane. But the medical industrial complex is very happy with that paradigm. So that's why they won out in 1850, and then we had the Fleckner report in 1920, which kind of solidified the way medical education would go. So now medical education is basically funded by the pharmaceutical industry. That's just the way it is, and they don't know. The average medical doctor comes out of training doesn't even know that there are other ways of healing. They only know drugs, and surgery.
Diagnose and prescribe.
Yeah. But anyway, so cancer is now a pandemic. It's becoming the leading cause of death now in 21 countries. All right, so before it was unheard of. So you have to understand that there's something going on. There's a lot of things going on. So anyway, now we do know what cancer is because Otto Warburg, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1931 for his discovery that cancer is a failure in cellular respiration, which just means the cell's ability to use oxygen and produce energy. He didn't know what that was in those days. They didn't have the knowledge hadn't advanced. Now we know that's the mitochondria that take oxygen, glucose, and make ATP, which is energy. Well, when enough of them become dysfunctional, the cell has to, it's on survival mode, so now it needs to make energy through fermentation, which is a fundamental basic way. So a fermenting cell then signals the nucleus to turn on those genes that will support fermentation. And those genes that are turned on are called oncogenes. So it's not that the oncogenes are causing it. It's not that a mutation caused it. And we know this with hybrid experiments. We take a healthy cell with a healthy DNA, cancer cell with a cancer DNA, take the DNA out of this, so put it in there with a healthy cytoplasm, it becomes healthy. That DNA doesn't cause it. We take the healthy DNA, we put it into a cytoplasm with defective mitochondria, it becomes cancer.
Yeah.
So we know it's not in the genes. Okay? If it were genetic, and 1 out of, let's say, 6 people on planet Earth will get cancer in a lifetime, that means at least one of everyone's grandparents should have had it.
Yeah.
Not the way it works.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
Yeah.
I had a guy tell me, I think colon cancer's in my family. I said, his brother has it.
This is an incredible paradigm. That statement alone, because I think everyone believes that. I don't know anyone that doesn't believe that if it's in your family, then potentially you're gonna, that's mind blowing to me.
Right. So here my brother had it. Well, did your mother or father? No. How about your grandparents? No. So it's in your family. What is in families is eating habits, living habits. That's what we pass down. Okay.
Culture.
All right. I'm Italian, right? So I grew up eating pasta and all this stuff. And in my family and extended family, we see high blood pressure, we see heart attacks, we see strokes, we see diabetes. Okay, that's what runs in my family. What really runs in my family is pasta, meatballs, sausage, bread. That's what runs in my family.
Yeah.
If I don't eat that, I can't have those conditions. And this is just common sense. So we've come to believe things. These are Santa Claus stuff.
Yeah.
Right? This is Santa Claus stuff, right? And they hypnotize us. We've all been hypnotized by the medical.
This is so reassuring, I've got to say, cut you, because I thought, and I've been fasting for a while, and this is why I came to do the water fast. I've done numerous little, I thought, no matter what my predisposition might be, if that was the case with my family, then I might still be able to combat it with extreme methods of fasting, etc., or going through what I would have called extreme dietary changes. But the reality is, as long as I'm not eating the wrong foods all the time and I am balancing it, maybe I wouldn't even get cancer anyway, right? It's just that our current diets are so bad. So coming here and going on a water fast or going into other dietary treatments that you're putting people on allows you to maybe even cure people that have these conditions already, but those that don't have it are definitely going to be in such a good level to prevent it. Am I right?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So this is so reassuring.
Well, it's empowering too, because it gives the power back to you. What the medical profession has done is stolen your power.
It's not in my control.
They've convinced you, right?
Yeah.
Nothing you can do. So you need a savior. You go to the guys with the white coats. and they're going to save you.
Yeah.
Right? They should be wearing black coats. So, Darth Vader.
There's a lot of bad people in history who wore white coats.
Huh?
There's a lot of bad people in history that wore white coats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting that you use the word extreme diets and stuff like that, because if one were to really examine the situation from a broad perspective, you realize that the diet that we eat today, which is considered normal, is extreme.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
it's not anywhere near a human diet, right? We don't even eat human food anymore.
It's like putting water in your oil, right, in the car.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing every day,
Exactly.
and then the car breaks down.
Well, okay. So a guy comes to you and says he's been watching you and your family, and you're really good people, and he comes from a family that raises thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got these great horses, a racing line. So he's got two young colts. Okay, they're just a few months old. He's going to give one to you and one to your neighbor. Okay, in a year and a half from now, we're going to have a race. Whoever wins the race will get, say, 20 million pounds tax free.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a year and a half. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to feed this colt hay soup? Hay soup? Or are you going to oatmeal?
You're going to do the extreme.
You're going to
diet,
give
right?
him. You give him fresh grasses,
Yeah.
fresh oats, right? You're not going to give it soup, but you give your
You're
grandchildren.
going to give
soup.
it
You give your
meatballs. You're going to give it spaghetti.
You're going to give him horse food,
Yeah.
right? And you can't convince a horse to eat otherwise. Okay, so we're the only ones who have lost it. And so, but anyway, so the way we work with cancer, first of all, we have to dispel one quick notion, and that is the myth of disease. So we have to get out of that disease model. As long as you're talking about in their paradigm, in their model, with their language, it's confusing. But if you understand that everything that we call a disease is really the body adapting to an unfavorable situation. So, for example, you're eating too much pasta, bread, potatoes, and your sugar is high, and your cells become insulin resistant to protect themselves. You go to the doctor, he says you have a disease. It's called insulin resistance diabetes. We have to get rid of it. Well, there's no it there anyway. It's your body adapting. So how do you get rid of it? Stop eating that stuff.
So again, get the call.
So it's not a disease that got, diabetes is not a thing that got into you. Okay, high blood pressure is the same. Your body increases the blood pressure because the arteries are narrowed because you're eating cheeseburgers. Okay, so what are you gonna stop eating the cheeseburgers?
Yeah. No. Let's give you medicine, right?
Right. Let's give you medicine to paralyze the enzymes so that it dilates anyway. Anyway, so same with cancer. The cancer is an adaptive response. So if we understand the body is always doing absolutely what is absolutely necessary, it can't do otherwise. And it can't make mistakes. Water running downhill never makes a mistake. Nature is hardwired. The law that underlies all of natural processes is the law of necessity. It's not a moral law, Unfortunately, to all the zealot religious people, the universe is not moral. It's amoral. Okay, the water doesn't go downhill because it's good. It goes downhill because it's necessary. And it goes downhill exactly. There's this rock and that rock, and because of the laws of nature, it goes in a specific way that it could not have gone any other way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is nature, and our body is part of that. So even though we're not smart enough to eat human food, our body says, I can't deal with that, I can't deal with that, I have to adapt. So we call these adaptations disease. So if we can remove that word from I always use it in quotes when I write or when I speak, because it's not a real thing. So what I consider allopaths, the guys in the hospitals and all the other doctors, are just mythologists. Okay, they're dealing with a mythological thing. It's the unicorn, the flying unicorn.
And life is stressful, and you've got to pay your bills, and if you found a job that allows you to mitigate a lot of that stress and be going on a clear path, and everybody thinks you're doing well, and everyone that and as far as you know, you're doing well. There's a lot of those. When you speak to a doctor, they're not out there to hurt me. I know that a lot of them really believe what they've been taught, and that's what they've been taught. And unless they go out of that and start to research further and probe and experiment and look at a lot of this stuff's been proven scientifically now recently as well, which is really interesting. Which is something that led me to come here because when I first started fasting 8 years ago, I was looking online and there was limited resources about water fasting and using fasting as a cure, for example. But now if I look, there's dozens of it, and also it's been backed by science. And that's really important, because even I didn't know everything was backed 100% by science. There's obviously traditional ideology written in the books, in the Quran, in Buddhist literature, that fasting is great for you, but now it's getting back. You've been sitting here, you've been working with people, and you've seen the results. It's documented. It's still not mainstream, which is crazy.
Well, now you have mainstream doctors writing books. They're suddenly experts. When I was talking about it, I was vulnerable. I had the risk of losing my medical license just for recommending fasting. Okay, but now there's a urologist who's book out. He's famous. Yeah, how does he know? He just started looking at it. So
looking at your research, looking at what you've done.
So So anyway, so the way we would go about working with cancer is we're not going to treat it, we're not going to cure it, because there's no it. There's no disease.
That's another mind
paradigm shift. Okay. So here's the thing: is the body's adapting to a set of circumstances that are requiring that adaptation. So what would any logical, uneducated, didn't even go to elementary school, just alive, got their eyes open, walking around the planet, says, okay, well then stop.
But I think people don't realize that what they're doing is a cause. That's the problem, because people are told, look, high carbohydrate is very important for you, right? We need to be working on this kind of energy. So I'm on keto diet now, and that's why I'm fasting. So I completely want to stay away from the carbohydrates. I know what it feels like to be on or off it. But you tell me, every breakfast cereal for children is sitting there. It's got complex carbohydrates. It's got this. It's got that. It's got the good sugars. It's got, you're constantly being bombarded with the ideology that a lot of the food you're eating is healthy. And unfortunately, until the diet that you're having is seen as a cause and not as healthy as what has been prescribed, then they may not believe that what they're eating is healthy.
Well, you have to understand the society at large has been dumbed down to the point where we no longer really research, right? We consider Google our researcher. Now you understand what's happening with Google. This is probably...
We trust too much, right?
If
there was something good out there, they'd tell us.
Right, exactly. We believe that. Right, of course. Just like our politicians.
That's a problem.
Our politicians only do what's good.
Yeah,
they're all speaking the truth. Why would a politician lie?
Out there, they'd tell me. If this was bad, they'd tell me. They're not looking out for us. That's the problem.
Exactly. Anyway, we don't research it. And unfortunately now Google has become a verb, and it's also now we're all of our research. But the problem with this is that the first 3 pages now of Google are PR. That's the truth. You got to dig deeper than that. You got to go beyond Google. You got to really do.
You don't know what to search though, right?
Huh?
You got to be very specific in what you search, because even when I search specific things that I do want to find, there's a lot of misconceptions even in the literature that's there. You can't just look at one document. You can't actually. You know what's funny? When you look at social media, people are looking at headlines, right? And everyone is just so quick to jump even on political ideology, because I just saw a headline, and the headline says this. The story might not even be about that, but they're too busy. They don't want to look into what it is. I've seen headlines.
They're too busy.
They don't match what the text say anyway. You've got to do it, and if you can't even go that deep, how are you going to go into multiple documents to find out about your diet, about your lifestyle?
So we don't. You're right. We don't have a framework for learning. We don't have that, and now pretty soon the books will not even be used in schools. It'll all be online. That my cry is that we go back to reading books. Go back to reading books. Go back to Gutenberg. He's brought us out of the Dark Ages. Gutenberg, right?
No, you've got to tell me.
Oh, he invented the printing press.
Okay.
Prior to that, we were in the Dark Ages. Only the clergy had access to knowledge and reading. Okay, other than the populace at large was ignorant in Europe. Right now, in other countries, in Egypt.
But here again, it's a problem where people are going to. I think the resources need to be readily available. I mean, everyone's spending all the time on the phone, right? So, social media is bombarding us, and friends are bombarding us. Your friends become social warriors in the wrong direction. They want to do good, and they're actually doing harm. But I think we're in a very time constraint. In our minds, we think we don't have time. So I'm not so sure that everyone's going to want to go and get and as many books as they need to, because you look at a book, you go, that's going to take me 12 hours or 15 hours, I might not understand everything. It's also kind of good that we can have easy to digest information online. YouTube with great people, documentaries like this might get people excited into getting things. I still think there's a power there, you know.
Right, but to navigate your way through it requires guidance. You can't do it.
The other
You
problem,
need guidance, so you have to find someone who you know is real,
yeah,
who's telling the truth, and get their guidance on what to read and what not to read. And only then, once you get a foundation of what the truth is. For example, it's very simplistic thinking. Everyone goes on other people's opinions. Rather than that, let's look at the physiology. Let's look at our anatomy and physiology. If we want to figure out what our diet is, how about this? Since we're too stupid to figure it out, because our habits, our behaviors are culturally defined. Okay, we are not instinctual creatures. We had our instincts stolen from us, and we were enculturated.
well, yeah, absolutely.
So now we're enculturated, so we don't know what to eat. So what we need to do is go back to our closest relatives, the apes, gorillas, chimps. Let's see what they're eating. If we want to find out, we don't have to do any research. They're the closest to us. Instead, if you look at the meal of 99% of the people of the world, you would think that we were canines. We're eating dog food. Most of us eat dog food, not ape food. And we drink cow's milk. If we're going to drink milk as an adult, which is an absurd thing, why don't we drink human milk? Why is that bizarre? And if not that, at least chimp milk, a cow,
Yeah.
right?
That one's easy to find,
Right,
though. That's
right.
the Industrial Revolution, right? This is the part of the Industrial Revolution, that the wheat, the farming industry, it's easy to make into factories.
Yeah, no, I know. It all fits into the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah,
It's all
exactly. The business of it.
So anyway, so in dealing with cancer, which is and I love it because it encompasses. You have to know everything about the human physiology, the human psyche, and we've now come to realize that cancer is the physical aspects of cancer are just a minor downstream phenomenon. It's really a psychospiritual process that goes on, and we've seen this all the time. Psychospiritual, physical. So, if we don't clean this up, and you get a clean PET scan, within a year you're going to have it back. It's just the way it is. It's here. So we have to work on that.
Because your behavior brought you to the place that you were in.
And you're thinking,
when you walked in.
but not only that, fear, anger, envy, all those things absolutely measurably decrease natural killer cell function, measurably decrease T cell activation.
So the mind is one of the most powerful tools, you're saying.
Well, that's what we call it psychoimmunology.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to do that. I mean, I can take out your natural killer cells, activate them in the lab, give them back to you activated. They go into your environment, which is full of fear and anger and all that. Within an hour or two, you've lost that activation. So it's not an external process; it's an internal process. So that's why we have meditation, yoga, and then we, of course, one of our biggest obstacles here is dealing with the relationships people have with their family and all that sort of thing. So all of that goes into it, and then of course there's there's three parts. Number one, let's change the body's biochemistry so it stops making cancer. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter what else you do. If you don't stop making cancer, it doesn't matter how good he is at getting rid of it; it'll be back. So that really is fundamental, and that's not only it's fasting, cleansing. You need to get rid of all the toxins, which are the original reason why the cancer came about. So you eliminate the toxins, and then you provide food that is nourishing for the immune system, that is nourishing for our body, who's busy making 2 million new cells every second. 2 million new cells every second.
Yeah.
Okay, so you click on that, you say, oh, okay. So you got making them out of what? Out of whatever you put in your mouth, breathe, came through your skin, all that sort of stuff. So, and what you didn't excrete. So we're not only what we eat, we're what we don't excrete. Okay, so that's what we've got. That's the stew, the soup that our cells are living in that need to. Okay, so we need to work on that soup. We need to change the water in our aquarium. So we do that, and that also includes meditation, getting rid of stress, all that nonsense, colon hydrotherapy, lymphatic, all that stuff. The second part is using metabolic therapies that challenge cancer cell based on cancer cells' enzymatic limitations. Cancer cells don't have these enzymes, because they don't have this enzyme. So let's put it in a position where it has to use those, And healthy cells normally have them because they need them. So healthy cells are either unaffected or improved, and the cancer cells die. So it's a non-toxic metabolic therapy. So it's vitamin C, B17, artesunate, all these ones that are really well known in all alternative cancer centers. And then the third aspect is to wake up, stimulate the immune system, right? And if you do all three of those, then you can succeed. And so, that's really the way we do it. And so why would someone want to do this instead of going conventional? Well, we know a study came out in 2004 that published in the Journal of Oncology. They did a meta-analysis in the U.S. and Australia, looking at meta-analysis is looking at multiple clinical trials and bringing and synthesizing the data. In America, you enter the hospital with stage 4 cancer. You have a 2.1% chance of being alive in 5 years.
Yeah.
Australia, 2.3% chance of being alive in 5 years. Meaning you have a greater than 97% chance of dying. So why would you get on the plane that had a 97% chance of crashing? No. So, but we don't know that because there's two kinds of fraud.
I have been hearing this. So basically, you go on to chemo, you're going to live for 5 years, but that's not living.
No,
that's surviving.
2.1% live.
2.1. Yeah, beyond the 5 years or so. Isn't that the way
that means more than 97% will die.
Yeah.
Is that what you want? Okay, so the reason why
you go through it, which is horrible.
No, but why?
And then you die.
No, but why? Yeah, exactly. But why? Because they didn't know that. They didn't tell them that. Two kinds of fraud. Fraud of commission, fraud of omission.
Yeah.
Commission, you tell a lie. Omission, you just forget to tell the truth.
Yeah.
They don't tell you that that's your likelihood of being alive. Okay, so anyway, so we have to, so then now we look at all the data coming in on chemotherapy. Chemotherapy actually is the best friend of cancer. When we look at, there's 6 steps that have to happen for metastasis, for the cancer to spread from the primary tumor to other. And 90% of cancer deaths come from metastasis, not from the primary, right?
Yeah.
So there's 6 steps that are required for a successful metastatic new focus. Each one of those steps is exacerbated, is made better, by chemo. The tumor, the cell breaking away from the tumor, chemo helps that. Getting into the blood vessel, getting through the thing, it helps that. Immune evasion. And then the cancer cell also recruits the immune system. For example, macrophages that are coming there to kill them, they turn them, just like the CIA will turn an acid. They turn the acid. Okay, so they turn the M1 and turn it into an M2, and the M2 now promotes tumor growth. But every step of the way is made worse by chemo. So what they now know about chemo, yes, you will get shrinkage of the primary tumor, but you have just set the stage, and you now will have multiple metastases 16 months later. We know and I've got these are peer-reviewed studies in their research. The reason they're doing this research is because they're looking for those little enzymes and things that are activated by the chemo that allow this to happen. They're looking for ways to block it. So they're looking for blocking agents. They want to develop drugs. Yeah. So that's their goal. But what they're doing, what they don't. So here's the end. They found out. I mean, the conclusion of the study.
But it's not funny. This is not funny.
The conclusion is chemotherapy will shrink the primary and cause metastasis.
Yeah.
Okay. However, we think if we start with the chemo, if we give these blocking agents, just don't give the chemo. Anyway, they don't. It's you know what they say in India. If a pickpocket meets a saint, all he sees are his pockets. Okay, so motivation affects perception.
Yeah. Right?
You're hungry and you walk down the street, you see restaurants. You're a 16-year-old boy and you walk down the street, you don't see restaurants. Okay, so that's kind of the way it is. So anyway, so we do all 3 of those. So that's our approach. If we do have to use chemo, if there are such situations where we've got a problem that needs to be addressed immediately, we'll use low dose with insulin so we can target it, get it into the cell, minimize those effects that we were talking about, and meanwhile support the nutritional aspects of the cell so that it doesn't become a good nest for cancer. So anyway, we do all of that, and that's why we have a very high success rate.
Is waterfasting one of the treatments?
Yeah, you can do what we suggest or water fast.
Yeah. Because it's that
The
good.
water fasts will do it. 41 days, and you pretty much your cancer's gone. You may have to repeat that.
Yeah.
You may have to
Not
start.
if you come in with a baseball worth of
Right,
cancer
right,
growth, right? But maybe you could share with us some success stories or some stories where someone's come in with it's a serious chronic diagnosis where they may have only a couple of months or so, or a few months to live, and they've come in through this instead of going to chemo, or maybe they've had chemo before and decided I'm not doing that again. I'm going to come back. Maybe you've got some stories or some ideas that you could share there.
Well, one lady came from London, England, who had stage 4 breast cancer.
Yeah.
And she had 6 months to live. And she came here, and we brought her through a supervised 41-day water.
Had she done chemo or anything before?
No.
She just said, I'm not doing that. And,
41-day water fast.
41 days.
41 days.
And she didn't die.
No, and she came in thin.
Yeah.
She didn't start out obese.
Because the body it doesn't.
Well, because we have
it doesn't
visceral.
doesn't wither into nothing.
No,
41 days.
we
That's the
have
longest I've ever had.
You have to always keep in mind, distinguish conceptually the idea of fasting versus starving.
Mm-hmm.
Starvation is when the body's actually consuming itself.
Yeah.
Fasting is when it's utilizing fat for fuel, so there's no need. So when the body and all organisms in nature are designed for eating intermittently.
Yes.
You don't eat every day. No organism eats every day. They eat 2-3 days and they don't find food, and that's just the way it is. We're the only ones that eat all the time, every day. But anyway, so there's the body works that way. In fact, it's healthy to stop eating. It's healthy to eat once a day. It's healthy to put minimum of 18 hours between the last and first meal. It's healthy to not eat once a day. It's healthy to not eat 2 weeks, 4 times a year. Okay. By doing this, because when you're eating, your body is using its resources to process. When you stop eating, your body's using its resources to clean and to get and renew.
Yeah.
Clean. So if you're eating all the time, you never clean and renewal, and you develop. Even if you're not obese, you're toxic, right? And this toxicity contributes to the body needing to adapt. How do I adapt in this? So it adapts this way. We go, you have this disease. Oh, you have that disease. So these adaptations to toxicity are called diseases. You understand? You got to change the paradigm, the thought, the words, and all that thing. Only then can you survive the madness. Okay? Because you can't buy into their definition of things. Because if you do that, then of course you got to go stand in line and get your injection. So and eat a cheeseburger and donuts.
Yeah, don't change your diet. Just all you need to do is this.
Because it has nothing to do with it.
This.
They literally say it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so I know people that believe that, and it's very sad for me because I'm seeing that it affects them greatly. There's nothing I can do to convince them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there will be an awakening of understanding that. I mean, it's sad to think. I think the sad part is that you don't want to believe that you've been lied to, and that this research has always been there, and that and it's been suppressed, and,
right.
And you don't want to. There's no way you want to believe that.
Right.
Even the hardened skeptic, the hardened warrior. The truth is, you'd love to think that that's not the case, and so then you convince yourself that it isn't. And meanwhile, you're killing yourself, and you're killing your family, and your kids, and your grandparents, and everyone else around you. You're not giving this and fighting to get them to understand. I mean, it's emotional.
Absolutely. Well, if you acknowledging that you believe that it is kind of like self-deprecating. What I've done is I'm not smart enough to have seen through this, so you don't want to admit that. But beyond even that,
that's another point. Yeah.
But beyond even that, even when you know, we don't realize.
But you're addicted. So
we're
victims. You're addicted, right? So then you're like,
or you have you got an 18-year-old.
I love cheeseburgers.
Right. Well, you see, youth. The problem with youth is that you can do anything at 16.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel fine in the morning. You can do anything. So what are the best friends of human beings? Pain and suffering. Only with pain and suffering do we open up to learning, to change. Yeah. Otherwise, what's going to change?
This is my path. So I started fasting. I'm 46 this year. About 8 years ago, I thought I'm very healthy. I probably look the same way that I did then. And compared to a lot of people, I feel like I look healthy and I'm healthy. But I knew that if I don't do something then, early on, and I wish I had started in my 20s, that I'm not going to reach 80 the way I want to. I'm not going to be, and even now, I'm not going to live over 100. I wouldn't be living over 100. I want to live 130.
Yeah.
Maybe go transhuman into a machine with or bio something mixed in 60 years time. Who knows what's going to be there? But I want to be healthy when I do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be sitting there like this with a chip in my head.
Exactly.
I want to live for 1,000 years or whatever it's going to be, or whatever we transcend into. That's why I'm doing this, and I feel like it's that prevention that I want to hit early on. You know, it's great to see a lot of people who are coming here and being treated for chronic illness, but I think you should start this early. You should get your children into understanding this so that they're not creating, because there are kids, there are people in their 20s that have cancers that they potentially could have avoided from what we're understanding, right? So it's not only that you're old, but obviously when you're young, like you said, you can get out, go and get drunk every single night. You don't even get a hangover. Right, you're in university, you can go every single night.
Drunk,
going out every night, uni students.
Exactly.
And
do whatever.
When you get to mid-30s, you start getting headaches. It takes you 2 days to recover. You start realizing, hey, mother's not the same, you know.
And that, but so it's pain and suffering. You know, we have to be knocked down. We have to be hit, and that's what cancer is. Cancer is just a tap on the shoulder.
I started to wear glasses 3 years ago, and I went, I'm not Superman. My eyes are just that was only everyone else.
Right.
That's a huge shock for me, you know. So I realized I'm mortal.
Exactly. That's what
because I think we also think we're never going to die.
That's what we really think.
Right?
It's so
we don't have to do anything.
It's so distant. You know, when you're 25, 80 is
It's
like another lifetime. It's like
I started feeling mortal, and also I was a martial artist. I realized I'm not as flexible. I couldn't jump as high in my mid to late 30s. But until then, I thought I'm different to everyone else.
We all think that.
Really, yeah. And you got to learn that before. You got to know that in your 20s. Because then imagine what you could do with your body, or how optimal it could have run, and how great it would be. Because actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, what we're doing with water fasting in this process is we're not just anti-aging. We potentially, I think I'm going to leave these 10 days, I'm going to be younger than when I came in. So I'm actually reverse aging. What other word is there for it, right?
Well, what you're doing...
My body will be younger.
Yeah. Well, what you do, we have to define what that is. What is aging? What happens with aging?
It's a disease.
Right. So just like birth. Right? Just like birth. You got to go to the hospital to be born and die. Dying is another disease. Right? But as I said, when you're processing, your body's processing foods. When you stop, your body's cleaning, right? And revitalizing and renewing itself. When you stop eating, that's what your body does. What it does, amazing, is that it starts. It's brilliant beyond. We can't conceptualize how brilliant it is. What it does is it grabs fat, which has been stored. We have visceral fat. So even if you don't have any belly fat, you've got visceral fat.
I think I have a high visceral fat.
Yeah. And so what it does is it's using that for fuel, and meanwhile it's preserving all of the vital function and goes around and cleans up all of the unnecessary pathological tissues. So that's why it cleans out cysts and plaques and cleans tumors. It cleans out everything and uses it for fuel.
And also cleans out even semi-healthy proteins that are not perfect.
Yeah.
It'll eat them as well and give you better ones, even though they're okay.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right.
Really.
What is youth? What is youth? Youth is the ability to renew rapidly. Yeah. So that's what you're doing. So like you said, you're younger. You're restoring quickly. You get back to the rapid renewal, which is youth.
If I've been abusing my body since 20s, let's say, because I worked in nightclubs for 17 years. I used to own and run nightclubs all over the world. So you imagine sleeping late, drinking with people, whatever it is. So I was probably really unhealthy in my 20s anyway. I just didn't feel it, right? But now I can change my lifestyle to a point where potentially I believe I might be healthier than I was in my 20s anyway.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah. So that's incredible, you know?
Okay. Fasting is the only cure laid down by God. And we know that because all creatures, when they're sick, stop eating. All creatures.
Oh, yeah. And I know when my dog gets, because I've been doing this for so while, I've got a dog she's about 6 years old, I've been fasting for about 8. She's had a couple of symptoms every now and then, and I just tell the whole family, she's not eating for a couple of days, guys. Nothing. Bang, she's like brand new. Right. And all sorts of things. She's had bacteria on her mouth, different things that you do. I didn't want to go to the doctor and get some crazy pill and have her injected with something that's going to give her something else. Just stop eating, and because dogs can do that anyway. She doesn't even complain. When you see it face to face like that, you're like, anything that comes, I'm just fasting. We were talking earlier, and also with this diet and this lifestyle, I can have a cheat day. I can go out,
absolutely,
see my friends, and there's a big party, and I'm going to go out for a great dinner. We're going to drink. We're going to have a hangover the next day. Don't eat fried food the next day. Fast for 2 days.
Yeah.
Bang.
Easy.
Right?
Yeah. You undo it. Yeah.
Everyone needs to know that. These stupid ideas that, oh no, you've got to have a fry up. You've got to have this if you have it. No, just don't eat.
Just don't
eat.
eat.
Then you'll mitigate.
Yeah.
You'll undo what you've just done, right?
You can clean it out. Allow it to be cleaned out.
And be in a better state than when you had to be.
Yeah. And that way you didn't, and because the other thing, if you're not doing those things, you have a sense of what's the word? Self-pity. This lifestyle is
regret.
You're feeling. What's the word? Anyway, you don't need those feelings. So I'm not able to have fun with my friends and all that sort of thing.
FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Oh, fear of missing out. Yeah.
This is cool because when you want to go into this diet, people go, I know it's going to be good for me, but I'm going to lose my social life. I'm not going to enjoy life anymore. No, you can. I mean, I'll tell you what I'm planning to do when I come out here is I'm not doing the 19-hour intermittent eating thing. I'm doing the eat within 10 or 12 hours one day and then skip the whole next day. So there's at least 36 hours. So I'll be doing 12, 36 fast, 12, 36.
Beautiful.
Right? And then I was also thinking I'll do that 3 times a week, but Friday and Saturday are going to be my 2 days back to back where I'll eat and go out and go to the movies and have popcorn and do whatever I want and have a couple glasses of wine at dinner. But then Monday I'm already 36 hours.
Yeah.
Eat for another 12, my ketogenic diet, 36 hours, so I'm back into that. So
but it doesn't mean purely ketogenic.
No,
because that's not healthy, a pure ketogenic.
Not for long-term sustainability, right?
No, but eat a healthy, because look at celery, spinach has carbs.
Yeah.
You're not going to not eat carbs. Just eat whole food. That's the whole thing. Eat whole foods and uncooked as much as possible, and a whole variety of them.
What are your thoughts on the carnivore keto ideology?
Be great for dogs and and lions. It's really good.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of people thriving on that for short terms. No one that I've seen
it's basically
stay for 6 weeks.
Basically the Atkins diet.
You think?
Yeah, I know. I work with Atkins.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And that they're in ketosis in the Atkins diet?
Well, they don't really check the way we do.
Yeah.
The way we check. But it's not a matter of just being in ketosis. You need to know your glucose to ketone.
Well, I think the autophagy is the most important state to be in there, right?
Right, but you got to be
in renewal.
Glucose to ketone ratio must be less than 1.
Yeah. So I love the idea of switching my energy source. I feel like this is my day 6. Look at me. I feel like I can just walk.
But your 36 hours of not eating.
Yeah.
You will be in high ketosis.
Yeah.
Probably a ketones of 3 or 4 at that point.
Yeah.
With glucose very low.
Right.
You'll have a less than 1.0 GK ratio.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
you
at
don't
0.5 now, but I'm in fasting mode obviously, and 6 ketone today.
What is it?
0.5 on the GKI was what I have.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's day 6.
Fasting. Fasting does that, right?
And I'm so I feel like I'm on some super energy. I haven't felt like this on anything else.
Right. So but when you eat, you should eat a whole variety of real food.
Yeah, well, because I can, right? Because then I have that big break, so it doesn't matter.
Right. But so it's going to be vegetables. But eating an animal carcass, eating a dead animal. First of all, the whole life. How do you define life? In physical terms, not in anything else. It's the ability to hold a charge. And what I mean by that is you're having a heart attack. Energy. As I said, there are 2 million new cells per second.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's 37 billion chemical reactions going on in our body every second.
Yeah.
Every second. Okay. Each one of them is mediated by several enzymes. These enzymes require energy. So the first and fundamental thing a cell must do is produce energy to do all of its other functions, otherwise it can't. So it's the fundamental. That's why in cancer, when you lose the oxidative phosphorylation of the mitochondria, you quickly go into fermentation. That's it, it's energy production, okay? So the whole thing, and the energy is the difference between youth and old age, energy. Sickness and health, energy. And when you run out of energy, the game's over. And the way energy is manifest in biological systems is through electricity. So we do an EKG, and we can see the electrical output, and by the actual form of those waves, we can see if you're healthy or not. EEG, EMG, we can do all these electrical things. When the line is flat, so that means there's no electrical activity going on. So you take the paddles and if you can see, you can hold the charge, you're alive. If you can't hold the charge, like a dead battery in your car, if you can charge it up and it won't work, okay. So the ability to hold charge. So since life is all about energy, and we need to, everything we need to be doing is about how to obtain and utilize and store energy, okay. How much energy are you going to get from a corpse? How much? Well, maggots are good at it. Okay, they're very good at it.
I'll give you some. So I was vegetarian for 7 years and vegan for 4 of that. I moved to Switzerland 2 years ago and from London, and it was a much more physical kind of environment that I was in because I have to carry wood. We live in the mountain, and I've got lots of wood that comes in winter. I have to carry it up, and I was like, I'm weak. I can't do this very well. Like, what's going on? But because I had plenty of time and I was in a beautiful environment where I was eating what I thought was very healthy, I started doing weights. But I wasn't getting any gains. I thought, you know what, I'm 45 years old or 44 years old. Maybe that's just what it is because I'm too old to put on muscle. I I was introduced to the ketogenic kind of diet and eating meat with some friends. I said, you know what, I'm going to try it for 4 weeks and see what happens. On the first week, I was just like, the wood came, took it all out, like, what the hell's going on, this energy? Started doing weights. I got a pump, it stayed. I've never had so much muscle in my life. I've done lots of martial arts and lots of sports, but I've always been really lean on my muscle and everything. Now I'm actually, within a very short period of time, putting that muscle on. So there's a kind of a motivation there to kind of.
Well, you know, the same thing happens.
But the reason I was vegetarian is because I'm a very compassionate person and I don't want to be killing animals in the first place. You know, that was part of my real motivator, never to cheat on myself. I never cheated because I couldn't kill another animal.
Well, that's good. That's really the best reason.
And so now, if I can find a way that I can still have this growth that I'm getting and this healthiness, because I want to live like a young guy. I don't want to be kind of healthy but still staggering around like an old person. I like the energy that I've been getting. That's kind of why that's the thing that might keep me wanting to eat meat.
Okay. Well, listen. You know, the same thing happens. You know, when if you have like a pack of gorillas, the only ones that are really the most strongest ones are the ones that eat meat.
Right.
Just kidding.
They're not. The strongest animals eat grass.
What are the strongest animals on the planet?
Yeah, the elephant.
Yeah. Okay. The lion.
Yeah.
They don't live near a dog. No, we're their weight. All right. Okay. How about the hippo? How about the rhino?
So potentially other things I was doing in my diet, because vegan wasn't necessarily healthy. It was just because there's a lot of
vegan is a philosophy.
Yeah.
It's just
there's a lot of things you can eat that aren't as healthy. So maybe when I got onto the meat, I also did a lot of other healthy choices.
Well,
so I should try.
I got to show you something. I don't know if you know this guy.
I need to put my glasses on too. I hate it.
Years.
Yeah.
This vegan, 1 meal a day.
Yeah. I used to look up a lot of those guys. Do you know that Amin Ra?
Yeah.
This guy? You're going to show me him?
Right.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Okay, so
yeah.
So tell me.
I used to show everyone, say, just look at this way, you can do it. He wasn't doing it for me, but I also wasn't following his diet.
Wait, what is it? But what did you listen to him? What he said?
He's crazy.
But what did he say?
In which way?
You need growth hormone is produced.
Yeah.
Why not eat?
Yeah.
You need. In other words,
his regimen is very.
He knew what he did.
Yeah.
And then he knew when to eat, so they can get the. You do the heavy workout to get the testosterone.
Yeah.
Then you eat.
Yeah.
And then you don't eat. You know, yeah, there's a way to do it. But think about it. The strongest animals on the planet are where do protein come from?
From the grass.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You want a good steak? It's got to be grass fed. So skip the middleman.
We've been doing that.
skip the middleman.
Yeah.
You become grass fed. You know, and they're saying you're getting secondhand protein. All amino acids are originally made in plants. So we have 8 essential amino acids and then 20 amino acids, right? So we need 8, and from there we can modify them to make the other 12. Plants make all 20.
So okay, I think you've got me. I'm like 90% convinced because like I said, the compassion thing is super critical for me.
Yeah.
What's wrong with eating meat?
What, you mean physically?
Yeah,
Not the fact
not
that
the compassion thing.
not the fact you're killing for pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? Forget that.
No,
Because you're not eating.
not that. No.
No, okay.
But why is it so bad to have organic, grain-fed? Because I live on basically where there's cows all around me. I'm in Switzerland,
Right.
and we can go to our local butcher, and he'll give. We can buy a whole animal, freeze it, so that you feel like, okay, well at least I'm not wasting anything, and they'll cut it up and get it. But it's still killing a beautiful animal, and I love these animals. I walk past them. They're gorgeous. Actually, I don't know any.
Okay, so the question is, what would be wrong with it? Well, first of all,
Physiologically and physically, like for me to be optimal, as optimal as I feel today, to continue this state, but also be able to put on more muscle. I'd like to still grow a little bit, even though I'm 46, because I want to look like I'm in Ra.
Well, yeah, you can.
But I think a lot of people also say that maybe he grew first and then was able to sustain.
Even if he did, he's sustaining it. That's you're sustaining what?
Unbelievable. Yeah,
I
unbelievable.
mean, he's sustaining.
Yeah.
You saw the movie, the documentary. What was it called? Huh? No, the recent one that came out. Game Changers.
No.
No. Yeah. The Game Changers. It's on Netflix or whatever.
Do you know what's funny? When you go and eat meat, because you know it's bad, you stay away from those vegan documentaries because you don't want to feel that.
The Game Changers. Okay. I've had the Game Changers. Okay, watch it. But anyway, first of all, here's the situation. What's bad? If you're saying to me, what's bad about eating meat?
Yeah.
And we're talking
from a doctor's standpoint.
Wait, and we're talking about your dog.
Yeah.
I would say nothing. Okay? If we're talking about your gorilla, I would say, well, there's a lot of problems. If we're talking about you, I'd say there's a lot of problems. What is that? And our anatomy and physiology was not designed for it. Okay? And this is why. First of all, we weren't designed to kill. If we want to kill, we have to get tools. We have to have weapons, right? We grab a squirrel and choke it. We
can't catch
we maybe catch frogs. Okay, we're not designed to kill, right? Right? You're gonna grab a cow and start just gnawing on it. Okay, so anyway, we're not designed for it, and it violates every instinct, right? No human ever sat there and looked at a cow.
But I've been saying what you're saying now. That's
You're
what
looking
made me.
at
That's
cow,
what
yeah.
helped me be vegan for a while.
Or of course.
Vegetarian.
No. Okay, so that's that. So, but now let's get into our body.
Yeah.
Okay. What enzyme is in our mouth? Amylase.
Okay.
Starch. What enzyme is in the mouth of a lion? It's a protease. We're designed. We're designed starch.
But
Starch.
you're eating raw meat, right? I'm eating cooked meat. Isn't that different?
It's different.
Your face is like
worse. Right. It's worse.
Is it okay? This is information that I'd like to share and learn.
Have you ever heard that expression? Sick as a dog.
Yes.
How about healthy as a horse? You
Right.
know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do dogs eat? What do horses eat? Okay. I wonder where they came up with that. But
And horses look pretty good too when they're healthy, when they're running around.
yeah.
Like,
You can't convince them to eat a hamburger, and they're full of protein.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Good shape, right? So anyway,
what is meat doing
So here's
bad
the-
to me? What is
okay.
the bad? What's the
Okay,
negative
all right,
side of
so,
meat?
so here's the thing.
So it's horrible to do it, but
All right. So but here's take away the killing. Now,
you believe I would thrive
let's
more
see.
on a vegan diet or vegetarian diet?
And you'd live longer. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So you're chewing the meat. You're chewing.
So for cancer patients, you would never say, "Hey,
Never.
you eat more meat." So then, if I want to go extreme into that whole regeneration process, meat could be an inhibitor to optimal.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I'm an
You gotta
extremist, right? I want to be optimal. So that's
You can't get optimal on
You can't
on
on meat.
flesh. So, but here's the thing about the okay. We have when we look at a dog and a cat and the other carnivores, the length of their intestines
yes,
is 3 times the length of their trunk.
yeah,
With us, it's 12 times. 12 times. Okay. How big is this? Almost a meter, maybe,
yeah.
or 3/4 of a meter.
But it's
My intestines is 10 meters.
yeah,
Okay? 10 meters, which means there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, animals that are designed to eat meat,
Check it out straight away.
straight and
Yeah.
because you need to
Because
get
it
what you
rots
got
as
and get
well,
rid of it.
yeah.
It putrefies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, by the time it gets halfway done, it's putrefying. Okay. It's
And then it's sitting there for another.
it's
8
sitting in there, and
minutes.
it's and plus we're all chronically constipated anyway. But all these things form carcinogenic. I mean,
It's a hard one for you to convince me because I feel healthy, I feel stronger. I mean, on carbohydrates, I have my energy slumps.
Well, we're not talking about carbs.
No.
Why is
So
it
you're
carbs
thinking
or
so you're thinking just vegetables?
well, vegetables are
So I can be keto, vegetable only is what you're saying, and try that.
what?
Because actually, I've never been vegetarian without the carb. Maybe it's the carb that was
What
the
kind of
problem.
carbs?
Rice, cereal, bread, whatever.
No,
you know,
no.
always-
That's why you didn't get healthy. You're talking about cooked carbs. Yeah, no. You can eat.
Because these complex carbohydrates, these things that I'm being sold.
Spinach
are
is a
healthy
complex
for me.
carbohydrate.
Yeah.
Spinach is complex.
Well, no one's told me that.
Broccoli is a complex carbohydrate.
Yeah, no
those are
no one told me that. I didn't see that in the
Just go up and look on the internet
Yeah.
and just put in nutrient
Well,
content.
I know now because on keto I can. I'm supposed to
Right,
can
because you
have
know.
those, yeah.
Right.
So I do know
So
that there's
nutrient
carb there,
content of
but I never
broccoli.
saw them as a carbohydrate source if I was wanting to make sure I was eating enough carbohydrate.
Well, imagine this: you got a wildebeest.
Yeah.
It's eating grass. Where does it get that mass and fat? It's got fat too.
Yeah.
There's carbs in there.
Yeah.
You just got to think about it. Look at the world around you, and stop the believing people,
Yeah.
and just look at the world around you. And if what you're reading doesn't make sense with what you observe, then question that, not this,
Yeah.
right? But that's where carbs come from. And no animal anywhere has ever cooked. When you don't listen, you don't put your
No animal cooks has ever. No.
It should not be a surprise to you.
Yeah,
Please, forgive me.
no, well, I mean, there are some smart ones out there, but I'm thinking, do
Smart ones out there.
Do some animals prefer when they found cooked food, or would they reject it? Do you think? Let's say
Only domesticated animals eat cooked food.
they love it though.
And they have the same. They also get lymphomas, cancers. They get heart attacks, strokes.
So you
They have
suggesting
diabetes. There's diabetes in a dog.
You're suggesting I shouldn't even cook vegetables?
I'm just saying, if you wanted to be extreme and be as healthy as you could be, then you would eat. Okay. Do you think that nature screwed up?
Another argument will be that humans were able to get to where we are because we learned how to cook. We learned how to eat meat, so that our
Do you know what happened?
You know this argument?
Okay, you need to attend my lecture on cooked food because I have the articles.
Yeah.
How long are you here?
I'm here until Tuesday.
Okay, so maybe we'll do it on Sunday, baby. Sunday or Monday, we'll do the food lecture.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Yeah.
the food lecture.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the food lecture, I want you to see what happens. What you start out with and what you end up with in cooking are two different. You've chemically changed it. It's a chemical
I appreciate
reaction.
that.
You're not eating it, right? So the Eskimos ate a lot of raw stuff. So they anyway.
But there's that argument that, well, look where Europeans are in the world today, as far as like the advancements that we've been able to create, the science,
Okay, so
etc.
that's another question. We're on the sixth mass extinction brought upon by ourselves. We are in the we have to buy our water in bottles. I mean, I want you to tell me about progress. We're buying our water in bottles. Okay, it's safer to eat out of your toilet than out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nuclear waste everywhere. Tell me the progress. Computers made your life easier. How old are you? 40. Do you remember when there were no computers?
Yeah.
Life was fucking easy. It's not easy now.
No, it was fun.
It's complex, man.
It was fun.
It's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm stuck with this. Well, it's not made it easier at all. Not at all. It's made it worse. And I am now psychologically a cyborg.
Addicted to it too.
No, I'm a cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not made it easier, but the world is so toxic. The oceans, the waters, the air. This is great. This is intelligence.
Conversations.
This is intelligence.
Yeah. I
No,
see.
this is intelligence. Wait, we got to define intelligence now. I would think. Here's
how
what
we
we
define ourselves from other animals.
Right. Okay, so I would think that in the definition of intelligence, you would have to, at least one thing would have to be included, and that is the ability to survive.
Yeah. Self-reflect on your mistakes
Survive.
that we're making. Yeah.
Survive. we have gotten to the point where we will no longer, the earth is no longer sustainable. We are making it so we cannot survive because of progress. Now, humans are stupider. Do you know there was an interesting thing on the web about 5-6 years ago? They had a test, the graduating test from 8th grade in 1856 in the United States, right? 8th grade graduation, because that was all that was mandatory in those days.
Yep.
I couldn't pass it. Nobody I knew, we're all college graduates, couldn't do it. This was 8th grade. So what we have successfully dumbed down, like we were talking about earlier, right? Everyone, well, he believes in this.
I believe that. Yeah, my parents told me that years. I mean, I grew up in Australia. My parents were from Uruguay. When they saw what I was bringing home, they couldn't believe it. They were like, "What? What's going on with the education system? This is crazy." But then look back, it's happened all over the world.
All over the world, right?
It's just
On purpose. So we're ignorant. Okay, okay. And we think that by building machines, that it's going to improve our lives. Because God fucked up. He made plants and he made beautiful water and stuff like that. He made tomatoes instead of tomato sauce. It's a good thing he took a day off, right? What was wrong with him? Huh?
fantastic, Dr. Lodi.
Okay.
Fantastic, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I definitely look forward to doing this. This lecture with you. That's really exciting. I don't want to cut you off, but I'm just thinking.
No, I got to
patient for and I see that you've got your phone ringing, etc. But this has been so exciting, really, and you give me a lot to think about. And I am the type of person, you can probably tell. I've changed my diets before. I think I'm going to give it a try and see if I can thrive the same way. Because like I said, I switched to meat, but I also went quite healthy in other directions and cut out other things. So now if I went back on vegetables, but in the right way, potentially I can still...
Right, well, the majority...
Because I can tell very quickly what's happening, so I'll be able to know.
Right, well, and you've got the willpower, you've got the ability to do it, the motivation. But
it won't be hard.
The majority of your meal is uncooked vegetables, right? You don't have to be 100% raw. Is uncooked vegetables, salad with avocado, celery, sprouts, carrots.
Oh, there's some amazing recipes.
Right? Okay, you have that. Then, if you're going to have some good carbs, you do it at the end. You have maybe a little bit of quinoa, a little bit of brown rice, a little bit, or if you need to have that one.
I don't miss them.
Yeah,
no, I don't really have them normally.
Right, or whatever. But I'm just saying. But a majority is that, and fruits and nuts. And remember, here's the thing, which I will get to in my lecture. But the main thing is, don't worry about protein. 5% of the caloric intake from the 5% of the energy that comes from a banana is protein. 5%.
Yeah.
So eating bananas, you're getting 5%. All humans need is 5%. That's all we need of our caloric intake to be protein for us to be healthy. 5%. More than 10%, we're going to get in trouble. Okay, we don't.
What about when we want to put on muscle? Not that I want to bodybuild, but I'm just liking the fact that I'm seeing progress and I'm getting healthier than what I have been for the last 10 years. I haven't been feeling
10% max. You don't need more than that. You don't need more than that. Your body makes.
What about eggs? We've got organic chickens,
Mm-hmm.
organic chickens where we live.
Yeah, I think eggs are fine. I don't think you have to
range.
be vegan. I think eggs are fine. Absolutely.
I love eggs, and I think that's okay.
Do you like them raw?
So I don't have to stay away completely.
Just tap it on both ends. Open
I
up.
haven't done that since I was a child. Since I was young, I've done that before. That's how we emptied them out back in the day.
They're not there.
Yeah.
But then you get it, the real thing, right? Because when you cook it, when you see what happens when you... Anyway, we'll talk.
Fantastic. This has been so great, and I know everybody that's going to watch this is going to be really grateful. And there were some real nuggets in there, some real paradigms that need to be just crushed. Because I think once that door opens, you've got to go back on a paradigm shift. That's what's really important, and that's why I think I had to go through the video to count how many there were there, but there was the real eye openers, and I think that's the thing that helps people have a real effective change. Because when you read something and it's not mind blowing, you're like, yeah, okay, maybe. And when it's like,
right.
You can't go back.
No.
You don't want to go back.
Right.
It's very hard for me to go back to meat, but I thought I'm just going to try because I really felt like I was still not having the energy there. I'm seeing these guys.
Listen, I got my son will be 27 in July. My daughter is 24. They never had meat in their life. They're strong. My son's a recording guy, makes music. My daughter's beautiful. They're healthy, never ate it in their life. In fact, when he sees people eating meat, and then he's like, he even asked me, how did you ever do it? I said, I didn't know better.
No, the idea of it is
He never
horrible,
ate it.
and I have a lot of regret for it because it's a compassion thing is super powerful for me.
Right, so what I say, so what that tells us is that you don't need it. So now we know you don't need it. So now if we don't need it, then we say, so why are we eating it? Because it tastes good. So let's translate that. We're either killing ourselves or paying someone else to kill innocent animals for our pleasure. For our pleasure.
And too many. And
One
the
or two.
condition that they've raised it is shocking as well. So it's not just the killing, it's the whole lifespan.
Well, and even people
suffering.
that do kosher or halal, that blows my mind more. Let's make sure the animal's conscious while we kill it.
Yeah.
That somehow is better than having an unconscious animal.
Yeah. I think it's the idea that we think we're not animals, right?
Huh?
We're not animals.
We think we're not.
We have a soul, they don't, right?
Right.
We have compassion, we mourn, they don't. It's crazy because when they look at videos and they
cry.
know exactly what's going on.
They
Like,
cry,
We're
they
going
mourn.
to get killed. I just saw mum get killed. I
Right.
saw my brother get killed.
They
I'm
mourn,
going-
they cry, they have
Yeah.
families, they miss.
You see it in their eyes when you walk through
Exactly.
through the fields, or when you see it. I mean, my dog helped me just go even into more extreme being because I went, that's a cow.
Right.
That's the same thing. We're cows. We're all the same. Thank you. I mean, I think we could talk forever.
Yeah.
And I wish we could. And I think I'm going to come back again anyway, possibly next year. And I'm going to go and do Bodrum as well. I'm trying to get a whole group of my friends to go as a group because I think that a place like this is really good to do with a group of friends. It's not what I expected. I didn't come here and just think, oh my God, I'm going to be really grumpy and sit. No, I'm like, I want to do things.
Yeah.
I wish everyone that I knew was here
Yeah.
because I want everyone to feel
Have you gone to the beach?
benefits. Yeah, I
Go
go
there.
every single morning.
Yeah.
And I've been running it.
Yeah.
The first couple of days I was like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit, I'm going to run, I'm fine. And I just got better and better at it. And I mean, now, yes, day 6, I'm going to hit the gym, I'm going to do all sorts. Because it's my most healthy, actually, my most powerful, which is quite interesting. I kind of expected I would, so my mindset was already there. I didn't come in with the idea that this is going to be a total disaster.
How long are you going to fast for?
10 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually.
I know, it's not enough.
When you know.
Yeah.
But when you get beyond, you get up to 14, and so you really can't exercise anymore.
Yeah.
And you really shouldn't. And really,
Okay.
remember, fasting is abstaining.
Yeah.
So it's a healing. It's a time for healing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta go. I got another.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Very good. Great meeting you.